Hats off to entrepreneurs. You bring value to our community by creating jobs and building wealth. Aspire Enterprise of Florida is your premier one-stop resource for strategic business coaching, business trainings, and business services. Our elite team of business professionals have over 30 years of expertise to serve small business owners, not-for-profit organizations, and individuals. Aspire Enterprise, where your needs are our priority.
Reputation is based on what others think or believe about you. Our character is who we truly are, and the moral fiber that guides us. Our city has a reputation, and we need to elevate to the higher standard. I decided to run for mayor to see the city thrive. To its potential, together we can make it a better community. I am promoting sustainable growth in infrastructure and development in our beautiful city. By promoting and encouraging investors and corporations to ultimately develop our vast area of open land, to increase our tax revenue, to develop, expand, and beautify our bayfront area, downtown Palm Bay, to encourage investors to come in and increase our tax revenue. This increased revenue funding will provide job opportunities for the workforce in Palm Bay, enforce public safety by having a better budget for our police and fire department, modern parks, and provide better lighting for the youth in recreational areas, promote formal restaurant and nightlife to encourage residents of Palm Bay and visitors to spend more time in our city, provide better roads for rural Palm Bay and maintain current roads, provide new street lights for safety and peace of mind, to protect the health and welfare of our citizens and protect the environment. In these uncertain times, leading requires building alliances while at the same time diminishing conflict. Leader create conditions where people can choose new opportunities and new options. We can't make people change, but we can create an environment where they choose to. If elected mayor, I would like to donate my salary to the city budget for worthy causes. Our community needs an honest voice for the people to trust. I am Alfie, Alfred Ramsey Agari, and I am running for mayor of the city of Palm Bay.
We need judges who work hard, have experience, integrity, and proven service to our community. Donna Gerner was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, and got through college and law school at the University of Florida with scholarships and part-time jobs. Donna chose to make our community her home and began serving us in 1995 when she joined the state attorney's office prosecuting crimes for more than a decade, helping to keep our families and our community safe. Donna Gerner opened her own office in Altamont Springs in 2007 where she fought for people just like you in civil and criminal cases. She helped families keep their homes during the 2008 foreclosure crisis and has recovered more than $250,000 for families in personal injury cases. She has defended criminal cases and represented juveniles. She was also a certified family mediator and knows how to address divorces, child custody, child support, time sharing, and alimony issues. Donna Gerner has tried hundreds of cases before judges and juries across Central Florida and has been awarded for her outstanding trial skills. She is board certified in criminal trial law and is one of only 443 attorneys in the state of Florida who hold this distinction. This vast experience places Donna Gerner in the unique position of having litigated a wide array of legal issues on both sides of the courtroom. She knows how to balance the law on an individual basis with no bias or assumptions. She has also been a volunteer for Teen Court and has been recognized for her pro bono service to our community. Donna Gerner believes in equal justice under the law, and her service to our community over the last 24 years proves it. Donna Gerner has the qualities and experience to be our next circuit court judge.
Hi, my name's Donna Gerner, and I approve this message.
We need judges.
Good evening, Palm Bay, and welcome to another edition of Palm Bay Live. And with me tonight is attorney Michael Bross, and he's joining me live from his studio office. And welcome to the show, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very good. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and tell us about yourself and a little about your background before we get started into the line of questioning, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, again, good evening, Kevin. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight to express my concerns and what I plan to do. As you know, I'm running for the Circuit Court bench of the 18th Judicial Circuit for Brevard County, and it's Group 15. I'm looking for that position and asking the voters to vote for me because of my vast experience in the areas of the law for over 34 years. I have a website called https voteteambross.com. It's vote.teambross.com, or A. Michael Bross for Judge on your Facebook page. With over 34 years of experience, I've also been a resident of Brevard County for more than 40 years. I graduated from the Jackson Junior High School in Titusville, the Titusville High School in 1973, where I also then attended immediately Brevard Community College. I then transferred to Miami-Dade University in Miami, got my 2-year degree, an associate in criminal justice in 1975, then went into the Army. I was in military intelligence in the Army for 3 years, active duty, Fort Bragg, Fort Huachuca, and various other places through the United States. Then getting discharged honorably, I went into the Ready Reserve and then a signed up reserve as well. So I've served 6 years in the reserves and 3 years active duty. I then went to Florida National University during the period of time in my reserves, and I graduated cum laude at the top of my class in December of 1979. I then went to Campbell University School of Law in North Carolina, where I obtained my Juris Doctorate degree in May of 1985. The school has since moved to Raleigh and has a very large established school there. I've been a member of good standing with the Florida Bar since October of 1986, and I practice exclusively in the state of Florida, with sometimes I've gone outside the state to handle cases on what's called a pro hoc vice type of matter. That means other attorneys allow me to use their license while I pursue getting justice in other courts as well. I've handled for over 18 years the area of workers' compensation and handled hundreds of cases and appeals. I've handled 20 years worth of landlords and tenants and evictions and ejectments throughout the various counties in the state of Florida. For over 25 years, I've assisted plaintiffs in suing insurance companies for injuries that have occurred from a myriad of problems such as automobile accidents, slip and falls, dog bites, and those types of things alike. For 25 years or more, I've defended individuals in criminal cases involving everything from death penalty all the way down to traffic citations in criminal courts throughout the state of Florida, down in Miami-Dade County, in Indian River County, in Volusia County, in Martin County, in Seminole County, in Brevard County, in Orange County, many, many counties throughout the state of Florida, from Tallahassee to Jacksonville to Miami. I've handled not only criminal cases, but I've handled federal cases in the Middle District Court, in the Federal District Court of Appeals as well. I've handled family law, injunctions, administrative law, juvenile court, and dependency cases as well. I've handled the complex capital cases that have put me on Montel Williams, Court TV, and Dateline in the past, and I have handled other various cases as well, besides those in the state of Florida. I'm ready to be the circuit court judge here in Brevard County. I think it's my civic duty to spend the last years of my life as a judge on the circuit court bench, giving the court as well as the citizens of Brevard and Seminole County an opportunity to see what I can do to ratify and make sure that our calendars and our dockets are not overloaded, that individuals who are seeking justice or seeking some sort of egregious or access to the courts are not given the opportunity to come forward and delayed, because justice delayed is justice denied. Thank you.
Okay, awesome, impressive resume, sir. Congrats on that. So I'm going to jump to my next set of questions, because I think you pretty much answered why is it that you want to be a judge based on the extensive resume that you answered right a while ago. So why do you believe you would be a good judge? Tell us that.
Well, not only will I be a good judge, I anticipate that I'll be continuously elected until such time that I no longer sit. And for the reasons that I'm going to be a good judge is because I have the experience of being able to overcome the problems that exist in our court system. What that means is that I don't just sit here and espouse an idea or concept or philosophy. I will do what's necessary to get it done. Some judges will sit here and tell you, or individuals will tell you what they plan to do or what they haven't done over a period of time and what they're going to start to do now. I can tell you that I'm going to streamline the system. I'm going to stop the repetitive docket soundings and the calendar calls, and I'm going to interject myself into cases of civil and criminal so that I can get cases resolved. I'm going to hold the attorneys' feet to the fire. If they say they're ready, then we're ready to go. That means that if they announce they're ready for trial, there's not going to be any further delays because, again, the citizens of Brevard County as victims, as well as witnesses, as well as police officers, all of the individuals that I've had an opportunity to meet over the course of 34 years have their rights in court, and those rights need to be protected. We need somebody strong who's diligent. I have no obligations to anybody. I'm a lone wolf during my 34 years. I'm not one of the good old boys. And as such, I have no obligations to aid or assist any politicians. I've not been elected or selected by politicians in the past, so I owe no benefits to anybody as far as making the correct decision. My decisions are mine, and they'll be based upon the law, the evidence, the facts, the statutes, the administrative rules, as well as any and all ethical and privileged procedures that apply in these cases.
Thank you for the answer, sir. Very well done. Tell us about your opponent because, you know, who are you running against so that the audience know?
I'm running against a individual who was appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis, and that was more recently than not over the last year and a half. Her name is Tisha Belew, and she is not necessarily from Brevard County, although she moved to this area. I have residency here for more than 40 years in Brevard County, and I own quite a number of buildings here in Brevard, and I have supported many, many institutions in Brevard. I have a facility next to my office in Melbourne, which is a rehab facility designed to aid and assist 10 men at all times during the course of their rehabilitation as a sober living house, where Vision of Hope is the organization that helps run it. It was initially for women to stop people from dying on our streets from Oxycontin and the various drug cocktails that they use to kill themselves. I got tired of it, and I started my own organization to help people. And I continue to try to help children in their athletic attempts to gain success to our system through helping them with baseball, basketball, all the various activities that I've supported throughout the years as well.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. You talk about the many trials that you have, you know, many trials that you have done. So how many have been jury trials and how many have been non-jury trials?
You know, I wish that I was able to record when I first started.
Yes,
I didn't know that I would have so many jury trials, but I'm known to go back to back in major jury trials, one after another, very prepared and very well evidenced by the results of not guilty verdicts. I would say hundreds of jury trials that I've attended, everything from criminal circuit court to county court to every type of trial, non-jury trials involving administrative rulings, traffic citations, many, many, many cases from death penalty cases. I've handled probably 25 major murder cases. In fact, one of the first cases I had when I started was a major murder case. My client was charged with first-degree murder. He was a local reverend in Melbourne. He had $1 million bond. I got it reduced to $10,000 because people are innocent until proven guilty. Some judges who have no experience, their bonds are extremely high, and they don't know that it's not designed to be tantamount to no bond at all. The bond guarantees their appearance, the defendant's appearance, and I was able to get the bond reduced. Thereafter, Went to trial. The jury found my client not guilty, the right of self-defense. We're talking about 28 years ago. I've handled individuals who were truly innocent, that were charged with sexual battery on a child, and I was able to use DNA for the first time. State attorney named Merrill Alawas, who became a judge, was my opponent, and I was able to get him bonded, get him out, and through the use of DNA and blood typing and various other research and depositions that I did, his case was dismissed, or we call it nolla prosequi. And then eventually, about a year and a half, 2 years later, they found the individual who had actually committed the sexual battery upon this child. So there are truly innocent people in our system, and we need individuals who are strong and have the courage to fight on behalf of people who are claimed to have done wrong or very serious deeds in our society. And of course, there are those that, as a judge, I'll understand need to be punished and protect our citizens from those people who have desire to hurt the citizens of Brevard and Seminole County.
Thank you, Attorney Bross. Remind the audience, because I see more viewers are jumping online. What group are you in?
I'm in the 18th Judicial Circuit Court of Brevard County in Seminole County, Group 15.
Great, thank you for doing that. Okay, so we'll probably keep doing that as we see the audience size increase. Are you board certified in any area of law?
I am not.
Okay, all right. What's the most significant case that you have worked on as a lawyer? Tell us about
the cases that I work on as a lawyer. Let me just tell you, one of the first significant cases was a gentleman by the name of Willie Kimbrough. Ordinarily, I'm not allowed to mention names of people because the Florida bar regulates us, and due to professionalism and ethics, I have to ask the individual if I can even bring up their name. But Mr. Willie Kimbrough is deceased. He was in Cocoa, and when he was in Cocoa, 7 officers from the Cocoa Police Department beat upon him without charging him with any crime. Thereafter, he was taken to the jail. We were successful in getting him bonded out. He went to a hospital, I can't name it. They did a jugular port in order to take care of the rhabdomyolysis, the beating that pretty much liquefied his muscle. He was African American, 36 years of age, and lived his entire life in the Cocoa area with a very, very large family. Shortly thereafter, they put him in another area of the hospital and they did dialysis. As a result of that, he had what's called a tamponade. The blood had surrounded the heart and killed him, and he died there in the hospital from a tamponade caused by the beating that he incurred. I immediately filed suit. After I filed suit, the state had done an autopsy of Mr. Willie Kimbrough. I brought in a forensic pathologist named Dr. Ronald Wright. We were able to discover all of the tremendous injuries and matters that caused his death, as well as contributed to his death as well, based upon the beatings that occurred to his neck and other private parts as well. I spent a lot of money initially in order to get the medical examiner here so we can determine the evidence to be used. Thereafter, through a series of depositions and civil cases, it was the first 1983 case that we tried back almost about 28 years ago. And we had 43 defendants that we were going after. We were told that the Brosses would be sued, that we would have bar complaints. We marched, myself and hundreds of other people, marched down 520 upon the police department. And thereafter, we settled the case for quite a lot of money, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're able to give to the family and the children of Willie Kimbrough. This happened quite a long time ago, before the recent current events of individuals being killed and abused by officers, or allegedly. I'll say that until the jury makes a decision as to what had transpired. But there was no rioting. It was peaceful demonstrations. It was effective. And I thought that was one of the most important things, because nobody has the right to stand above the law, not police, not judges, not politicians. Nobody is a man above the law. If we look at the case of U.S. versus Nixon, that's one of the things we learned about, that it stands for the bedrock proposition that no man is above the law, and that equal protection should be provided under the law to all people of all race, creed, religion, sex, gender. If any man or woman is above the law, then no man or woman is safe. and no one is guaranteed justice under the law if tyranny is allowed to rule. So there's cases that we've handled, 1983 cases after that, as well as many cases in the circuit court to assert everybody's right to trial, to demonstrate that they are not guilty, and that to force the state to prove each and every element beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt under the law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. And I see Mr. Ballou joins us here tonight. And I do want to mention that I did reach out to Tisha Ballou office to have her join us on the show sometime back, but nobody responded back to me on that invitation. So just want to put it out there. With that said, let me keep going. What kind of things do you do outside of the legal profession?
Well, thank you for asking. I have a little dog. His name is Mr. Bojangles, and he's a Yorkie, and I love him to death, as I've had many dogs throughout my lifetime who have died while we have had them in our custody and control, and it's been very horrible to go through a death of an animal that you love very much. In fact, I ride my Harley Davidson. I have a special holder for him to fit in that is bolted down, and it's something that he enjoys being in. And in fact, I dress him up as a Harley Davidson rider with a Harley Davidson cap and a little jacket. You can see it on some of my mail-outs. So I've done several mail-outs to voters requesting and asking them for their vote. I go snow skiing. I've been snow skiing over the last 20 years. I have a boat. It's called the Not Guilty. And I go boating and fishing. And I do a lot of other activities. I am a gun owner, and I believe in the right of citizens to have and maintain weapons for self-defense. I believe in the right of self-defense, as many, many, many times I've won cases based upon the right of self-defense. Even recently in Daytona, there's a gentleman before Judge Zambrano that I represented in self-defense, and the jury returned a verdict of not guilty for first-degree murder, having utilized a semi-automatic 40 caliber weapon in defending himself and his family. I believe in self-defense, and therefore I would submit that it is a constitutional right that should not be abridged or set aside mildly in any form or fashion. Once we start setting aside and preventing people from having rights to certain guns, limiting the type of gun, limiting the type of bullets, then we're on a downward serious slope to potential loss of all of our rights, our constitutional rights. As you know, the Constitution doesn't grant rights, it just prevents the government from taking away your natural rights. And during the COVID virus that we're now in, the government has taken away a lot of your natural constitutional rights to redress wrongs in court. Speedy trials have been delayed and denied. The Supreme Court of Florida has, in their infinite wisdom, said that you cannot pursue a speedy trial case during the COVID virus, and we understand the ramifications of having people next to each other. We appreciate and want social distancing. We want masks to be worn. We don't wish the spread, but at the same time, there's a juxtaposition to those that are sitting in jail, that are subject to the coronavirus, that may kill them, that may truly be innocent and deserve that right to trial. So justice denied is justice delayed to all, not only the victims, but the police officers and the courts need to make ready and available a methodology by which we can continue to have justice in the state of Florida, in Brevard County, in Seminole County, and in the courts that we practice in.
Thank you for your answer, sir. Let me answer this. Besides COVID, what do you think is the biggest problem facing the court system today?
Well, one of the biggest problems facing the court system today is the fact that we have overcrowding of our courts. We don't get our cases heard. There are numerous delays. The judges continue to grant continuances without due cause, without proper circumspection of the documents and the need to continue matters. Recently, I had a case in front of a well-known judge in Brevard County in the courthouse in Viera that I fought a motion to continue because I was tired of simply allowing the state attorney to move to continue cases. The state attorney, as well as others, know that if they merely suggest a continuance, the court seems to give them the right to continue. But in this case, I was very adamant and I fought against it, where the state said, well, one officer they couldn't find, another one was on vacation, and another one was involved in childcare when I had a client who was very ill. He has a terminal illness, not just COVID, and he needed to have his case heard on a motion to suppress. I contended it was an illegal search and seizure, and the items that they found should have been suppressed as what we call fruit of the poisonous tree. The judge agreed with me that it was not based upon a proper motion to continue and forced the state to proceed forward. The state was unable to. As a result, the court granted my motion to suppress without any further delay. They're not going to be able to go forward on that case. My client will eventually and shortly hereafter be granted his release as appropriate.
Okay, great, sir. And I see one comment from the viewers. Michael Bross gave me a life advice that turned my life around. Thank you, Mr. Bross. So you have some fans out there, sir.
Thank you.
All right, great. Mr. Bross, believe it or not, we have come to the end of the interview. It was very quick because of the fact that we did not have any more questions to deliver to you tonight. This was going to be a short interview anyways. But what I'm going to ask you to do is tell the audience why they should vote for you. And so I'm going to remove myself from the screen so you can drive home that message right now.
Thank you. Well, a judge, as I will be, should be above all else and at all times fair. I will be fair. I will be impartial. I will give equal attention to the arguments of counsel and the testimony of witnesses for each side. A great judge will have extensive trial experience, both jury and non-jury, not just having taught or been educated, but it is that experience that's necessary that commands respect. And I have that experience in civil and criminal arenas prior to taking the bench. It is not that I hope or I plan, but I will give the citizens of Brevard County fair jury trials. I will make sure the system functions, that it functions well, and that it functions efficiently to resolve cases. It is not just for people of all ages and sex and genders and biased and immigration status or not. It is for all people at all times to come before a judge who knows what they're doing, get their case resolved appropriately, satisfactorily, and move forward onto other cases as each case comes before him. These are not things I plan to do, but I will do. I will execute. My court will run absolutely appropriate. My judicial assistant will aid and assist any and all individuals to get them before the court, make reparations if necessary based upon emergencies such as COVID or other situations as well, and take into account all litigants who come before the court and their needs in order to remedy cases before the court, whether civil or criminal. You'll also note that a lot of the circuit court judges no longer have to handle matters that were supposedly before circuit court judges, such as evictions and ejectment proceedings and some dependencies. It has been given to the county court level inappropriately. I'm currently fighting that now. I'm taking that up on appeal to the 5th District Court of Appeal. So circuit court judges will do their job, such as injunctions. If you have an injunction, you're going to find yourself a lot of times in front of a county court judge. As a circuit court judge, that's my job, and I want to do that job. I don't want it being transferred to a county court judge inappropriately because of some order that keeps being granted every 6 months for the last 30 years. We need to address that. We need to stop the transfer of the duties of circuit court judges. They need to do what they're supposed to do, and I will be one of those judges that will take the reins and do what I'm required to do from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock at night or longer, whatever it takes. I am the judge that I ask all voters to vote for on August 18th, 2020, to vote A. Michael Bross for Circuit Court Judge of the 18th Judicial Circuit, Group 15, in and for Brevard and Seminole counties. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining me tonight. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and I wish you well at the polls, and hope to see you again in a good setting at some point in time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity and the honor to be here with you tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bross. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to continue on with the show. I do have some other things to do. So I'm going to remove Mr. Bross from the screen. And Yes, so everyone know that last night we had a good showing, and basically I talked about the fact that tonight I'm going to be delivering the individuals who are going to be doing the moderation for the Seat 2 debates. The Seat 2 debates is going to be next week on the 23rd. So I'm going to share the individuals' names that is going to be doing the moderation for Seat 2 debates. And so those individuals are going to appear right now on my screen. The first one up is Miss Carrie Fisher. She's a resident of Brevard for 17 years, a new citizen as of last year. She just became a citizen, she gained her citizenship. She's a member of the Leadership Brevard class of 2020. She's involved in the community with Asian Matters in Brevard and the Business Networking International. So that is going to be your first moderator on the program. The next up, everybody should know this guy, Mr. Dana Valentino. He's very public in social media circles. His voice, his opinions, he tells it like it is. He's a local businessman, owner, resident of Palm Bay for 7 years. My favorite part of living in Palm Bay, he says, is my quiet and friendly neighborhood and convenient location to all the amenities we need. The area of growth I believe Palm Bay needs to focus on is priority spending, budgeting to reduce spending, and lower financial burden placed for the homeowners. He's a former member of the Palm Bay Parks and Rec Board, and he likes to say he wears matching socks, and he's, as you can see, he likes to smoke cigars and drink rum. Okay? Next up, Miss Michelle Passion. She's a former council member from 2008 to 2016. She's currently the president of Brevard County National Organization for Women, and branch manager and closing agent at Supreme Title Closings. She's married 31 years to Michael and have a 2-year-old Jack Russell Terrier. Next up, we have Mr. Ryan Seeloff. He's the owner of Destination Brevard, and he's a dad and he drives cool cars. So these so far are your moderators. The last one that we have, and I do not have a picture for this guy yet, but he's Daniel Acosta, will be the last individual that's going to be a part of the moderation team. So that's going to be our team for the 2020 C2 debates coming up next week. That's next week on the 23rd at 8 p.m. Okay? Next week, 23rd at 8 p.m. And just by way of announcement, Janice Chris has declined to appear on the show. So just so everybody knows that she is declined to appear on the show as of today. So we have our full cast. So we have our full cast of individuals. And when I select these folks, I wanted a cross-section of individuals with different ideas, different opinions. I wanted to make sure that I fill every circle there is possible. So that's why I developed this cast. And so, yes, so these are the individuals that I chose to be a part of it. We're having meetings, we're having discussions on the line of questioning that we will pursue coming up on when the debate starts. And so everybody's aware. So these are your casts, and I hope to see you next week. On the 23rd at 8 p.m. And that's when we will have our debates. And again, thank you for joining us tonight. And I'll see you the next time you will see me is on the debates, the 23rd at 8 p.m. That's the next time you'll see me. There will be no more shows until then. Then after that, then the show that follows is 2 mayoral debates, and then we have the not 2 mayoral interviews and then a mayoral debate afterwards. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night.